Hey everybody, welcome back to Team Kitchen Fable interview series. Today I am joined by the Jimmy Lee. Jimmy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Tyler. I appreciate it.
All right, well let's start off with the hero reveal. Jimmy, tell me a little bit about where you're from, who you are, and how you got into the game.
I play on the west coast of Florida. I have a pretty good locals group playing with me, weekly. For bigger events, central, southern Florida, they come to us, we go to them. We have some really good players in Florida. We have, Tawarian dropouts. We have other members of Team Kitchen Fable, our team. So good players in my area for sure. And a little bit about me. Outside of Flesh and Blood, I work a full time job. I'm still in college, still working on my degree. And my hobby, other than Flesh and Blood, would be boxing. You could actually say it's my passion. Um, I guess you could, kind of Flesh and Blood like, but with in real life and not cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How I got into Flesh and Blood. I was playing another game called Raydn Saga. That game unfortunately died January of 2021. Didn't have a game. Channel Fireball, they were doing their instant collection. Right when Monarch was just coming out, early season or something. I bought into it because I had heard about the game before. It seemed right up my alley with these warriors, heroes fighting each other, and I'm very glad I did. I love the game. It is my favorite card game I've played so far. I played like Magic, and so this is my favorite.
Yeah, cool. And a fun question for you. If you could describe yourself using only one current card from the game, which card would that be and why?
Okay. So I do love this question. My card I would pick would be the V of the Vanguard. Not only is it my favorite card, it's my favorite card for sure, but I think that the art, the flavor behind the card, it really embodies, bravery, courageousness, and those are, virtues that I value very high in my own life. I'm always trying to be brave, always trying to, hold myself with courage. Um, and as how it relates to me as a Flesh and Blood player, I feel like, as a Boltyn player, Boltyn's my main. He's my favorite. I definitely feel like I'm one of for sure, but the pioneers for Boltyn. Rather than waiting for these lists to come out to reference and whatnot, which is not a bad thing. But me, I'm definitely working on my own. I want to be the guy with the list for others to reference, whether they're PMing me or they're looking at it off the Flesh and Blood FaB TCG site.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're the best Bolton player that I've ever met, so
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm still working on it.
for sure, for sure. So we'll move on to our turn phase for the format of the interview. But first, you can't forget that tunic resource at the start of your turn. So what's one resource that you use for your Flesh and Blood game that you would like to share with others?
Resource that has really helped me grow as a player is actually the online gaming aspect of Flesh and Blood. Whether it's playing, events online. For example, I'm in this server called the Tavern Brawlers, and they run a lot of great events, great people there. Whether it's playing events like in those or just playing with. I have some friends that I made off of Flesh and Blood that I've either sorry, it's late. I've either never met or maybe I've met them once at like a calling or something, but I have friends that I'll just play weekly, testing with them, and it's really helped me grow as a player. I think if there are some players out there, maybe they're newer, maybe they only play in the Flesh and the Blood, after armies with their friends, which is great. Please support your LGS, support local play with your play group. But if you would like to, supplement that, a good way to do so would be online playing. You get in a lot more reps. You get better at the game. You get enjoyment out of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I know we've been playing online for months now. Ever since we both got into the game around the same time.
Mhm.
Saw you in all those online tournaments. That was back when we weren't able to go to our local game stores, and that's all we had.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. I think the online form of it is something that the creators didn't envision for the game, but the game has
hmm
really been helped out by a lot. And so I just think it's really cool that we
Yeah,
have that option to play with other high level players or just
exactly.
any
I think
players.
yeah, exactly. I think it's a good supplement, for local play. Don't stop going to your locals, but
Yeah,
if you need something else, more flesh and blood in your life, online's the way to go.
for sure, for sure. So now we'll move on to the action phase. So let's talk a little bit about you and the action you've created in your game. So what are the main decks that you play? I know you said Boltyn already. Are there
Mhm.
any other decks that you like to play?
So yeah, I main Boltyn, and with me as a player, when I main something, it basically means I play only that.
Yeah,
But yeah, before Boltyn, I was playing Dorinthia, and I would say, I main Warrior. If they come out with another cool Warrior, maybe with a cool sword or something, I'll definitely give the deck a build, give it a try, and start working on it.
yeah, cool. What is the best tournament appearance that you have had?
The best would definitely have to be my Road to Nationals win. Over at the Cloak and Blaster in Orlando. I've qualified for day two at Nationals. I've qualified for day two at a calling, but nothing quite like winning a bigger event like that. I think it was 53 to 50 or 57 players, something like that. A relatively large event, not the biggest Road to Nationals, but a relatively big one. And to get a win after that, get that sweet extended art tunic, it was very cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that tunic's like a trophy. Like that's what we play for. They're
Exactly. I
usually a
still
reason for our wins.
right. When I had won mine, it was the first of the month, so it was back when those tunics were selling for like 5,000. But
Yeah,
I still kept mine. I
cool.
just thought it was very cool.
Of course, yeah. And what's your favorite memory from Flesh and Blood?
So other than the friends I made along the way, so I of course appreciate. Funny enough, it would probably be that same day. Um, it was just very exhilarating to play through a long tournament like that, make it to the top tables, make it to the finals tables, and then like just sitting there feeling like I might have a chance of actually winning this thing. It was very exhilarating. It was an amazing feeling.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's cool. So now we move into the reaction phase of of our interviews. So these are more rapid fire questions. So we'll try to answer them faster. First, your favorite hero to play?
hmm Bolton, right?
Boltyn,
And
yeah.
second,
He's right
second, let's
behind
say
me.
Dorinthia to get another answer in there. Yeah,
Cool. Favorite card?
that would be the V of the bank
Be the
for me.
card. Cool. The most overrated card in the game.
So this one I would have to say Enlightened Strike, and that is only because people, at least when people talk about it, they casually put Enlightened Strike and Command and Conquer like kind of on the same level. They're both the Chase Majestics out of their respective sets, but I just feel like Command and Conquer, it is disruption for everybody. Maybe some heroes feel it less than others, but a Command and Conquer comes your way, it really makes you think, especially when you have the perfect 5 card hand.
Mm,
And Enlightened Strike, it's a very good card, but I don't believe it puts that as much stress on your opponent when it's played.
sure. What's the most underrated card in the game?
So for this one, I wanted to pick something that was more generic rather than just like a card in like a Boltyn deck or something. And I think equipment can, and especially if you're newer, is underrated when you're playing a game. You start off the game with the equipment on board, so you have it all game, and it's how you use it that really makes a big deal in this game. Whether it's defending with it or using the once per game action reaction, like in Snapdragon Scalers. And also, common equipment, when to use them. You can't go wrong with having no rune, Blitzer CC, and sometimes, let's say you're playing Blitz, you don't have time to wait on the tunic. Maybe it's time to bring in the common hurt and crash trap, right?
Yeah. I remember in one of my decks that I played for all of Road to National season, I used three common equipment every round, and it got me there. It got me what I needed to do. So
Right.
they are very useful and overlooked. I think too. I'd agree with you.
Awesome.
If you were a Flesh and Blood hero, what class would you be?
I would definitely be warrior. Just with nature, but also I would strive to be a warrior. I think they're very cool.
Cool. And what do you want to see most in Everfest?
So perhaps a more selfish answer, but of course, new Boltyn cards. Who's not excited for new cards that they can play with their favorite hero? Maybe more specifically, maybe something that can help mitigate the disadvantage of charging, which is like a -1 from hand every turn you do so, which is every turn you want it to be about every turn. It's pretty well balanced in the context of Boltyn the hero because he has some turns that only he can do. He has some great turns, but when you couple it with other opponents' effects like discard or top or bottom a card, make your opponent top or bottom a card, it can feel a little tough out there. So maybe if we can see something that can help mitigate that, that would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, maybe a majestic or something that charges your soul and you draw a card or something to
Yeah,
replace
I
that
mean, I
card.
don't even have any idea how they do it, but I'm just looking forward to see what they do. I'm sure it'll impress.
Yeah, for sure. Now we'll move on to the instep, the last part of the interview. So, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a player that they can keep in their arsenal to remember during their games?
I would definitely say, I know losing can be frustrating, but try not to get too frustrated. You can learn from every game, and especially the losses. A specific advice that I think might help, especially newer players, is something that you come to learn as you play. But maybe if you're told from the beginning, it might ease it along the way. Is especially for the aggro players like me, and it's that sometimes you don't have to wait until your life total is so low that you're forced to block out and then block out every turn until your opponent finally gets over. It feels bad. Maybe sometimes it comes down to earlier on in the game evaluating a hand, looking at your hand, and weighing as to whether it's worth taking whatever your opponent's throwing at you that turn to dish back. Maybe if not, you use that hand defensively. Broadly speaking, case by case, different heroes it matters, but maybe use that hand defensively. That way, when you have that amazing hand that you want later on in the game, you have the life to finally take your opponent's hits and then dish out that amazing hand you have.
Yeah, cool. Well, Jimmy, I appreciate you sitting down with me today. Appreciate the interview. Good luck on this upcoming ProQuest season. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the Pro Tour in a few months.
Thank you, Tyler. Well, I appreciate you having me, man. I hope you have a great day.